Hello everybody, bit of a sad video today, but in a way we want to celebrate two people. Mike Pinder, who passed away on 24th of April, and Richard Tandy, who passed away on the 1st of May, both from the city of Birmingham in the Midlands in the UK. So, our hearts go out to the people of that city because they were two incredible keyboard players who shaped a lot of the music that we all listen to and take for granted. Birmingham, a city I regard as England's Motown. You know, it produced like such an incredible array of bands like Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, Uriah Heep, the Moody Blues, etc., etc. We could go on and on and on about it all, but very sad day. Two incredible talents, two incredibly innovative players as well. Let's just talk a little bit about them, I suppose. So, poor Mike Pinder, we have a couple of our favourite Moody Blues albums here. A man who was a pioneer of the Mellotron. Absolutely incredible sound. His influence on progressive rock music is just, incredible. I think the whole seeds of the structure of progressive rock are actually contained in some of the numbers that he produced with the Moody Blues. You know, on this one we've got Have You Heard The Voyage and Have You Heard Part 2, which is a real kind of prog piece, and
my song on this is he had this Mellotron sound that was his. It was Mike Pinder's sound, and you hear it in my song on this as well. And you have Melancholy Man on Question of Balance, a fabulous song that he wrote, and he said it was one of his favourite songs that he did. And he was so creative and so clever with what he did, and he created something so wonderful that from that stemmed so much of the music that we all love in the community. And he brought so much more to music than what people know. He had an interesting philosophy, which I often quote to people, which was keep your head in the clouds and your feet on the ground. So it was Mike. One thing about it, I'd say, one thing that the passing of these two giants of the keyboard shows us is that, people talk about the late 70s and what happened to prog at that time and everything like that, and they think, the narrative always was, well, punk came along and blew it all away, which is absolute rubbish. What happened was that an awful lot of factors happened. Punk was one of them, but there was an awful lot that happened. And one of the things that happened was the change in technology in keyboards. The whole sound of how keyboards sounded completely changed, and things like Hammond organ and all that sort of early sound started to disappear out of it because the technology was there, which made it easier to use for other sorts of keyboards. See, I'm going off on one, I can't help myself. But you could either go along with it and try and play the way you always played and look kind of foolish, or you could change along with it. Mike Pinder, he came back with the Moody Blues and they did the album Octave, and he realised things were changing. And he pulled himself out of the whole thing and left it. And he left them to use Patrick Moraz in order to bring them up into this new digital keyboard age that was happening. And Moraz did a fantastic job with the group, and it was the right thing for Pinder to do. And we're now left with these wonderful pieces of music he produced, kept in aspic for us. So then if we move on to Richard Tandy, just an incredible keyboard player, very subtle player. I find that a lot of people that listen to ELO and go, oh yeah, you hear the cellos, but a lot of that sound is actually him complementing it with things like Mellotron and other keyboards, etc. in there.
And what I find about him is he kind of jumps around from keyboard to keyboard very quickly. There'll be one chord done on one thing, and then he'll be on to something else, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Very detailed mind here in the studio and everything. And what he was actually able to do, Richard, was he was able to move with the times.
Yeah.
He was one of the guys that could adopt the new technology and use it and get an absolutely fantastic sound. One of the other things that came in that affected music in the late 70s was disco. And ELO were able to put a beat and a dance behind what they did, you know, and then use this wonderful orchestration and the beautiful subtle keyboard working of Richard Tandy. But if you listen to him, if you listen to these albums and listen to what he's doing, I have to say Concerto for a Rainy Day on this. I was just listening to it this morning. The amount of keyboards that are on, but you do have to keep your ears glued to the thing because it's absolutely astounding. Fantastic work. Sadly missed both of them.
But as well with ELO's music, their music's it always sounded so cinematic.
Yes.
And as time went on in cinema as well, as that progressed, they took on the cinematic universe again and again in their albums, and that was mainly down to Richard Tandy's keyboard sounds. You know, he always brought magic to their music, and even if it was just a very subtle underlying sound that he had in there, it would make you feel like you were in some sort of movie, or some sort of movie soundtrack was playing around you.
Yeah.
And he was
Yeah.
unreal. Like.
Yeah, there's layers upon layers of depth in these ELO albums that I think a lot of people just kind of they just brush past it. Are they prog? I don't know, but there's certain elements in there that is in there. So yeah, very sorry to hear about the passing of these two giants of the keyboards. And yeah, I mean, we're so joyful for what Birmingham, the city of Birmingham, has brought to us, and there's many more people still out there from that city still doing it. I saw Judas Priest only a few weeks ago, and Rob Halford is still up there doing it for the Midlands, so fair play and well done, and yeah, rock on Birmingham, okay? All the best, bye.
Bye.